Okay, John. Three, if you had to pick, three keys to victory for New York in your mind for the Jets coming down and playing this game in Miami Gardens in Week 14.
All right. Well, number one, don't throw a pick six on a Hail Mary. Actually, we have a huge upgrade. We have the Hail Mary king now, Aaron Rodgers, which we didn't have last year during the Black Friday fiasco for the Jets. No, I'm not joking. I mean, they can't throw a pick six on a Hail Mary. That's not one of my actual keys, though. I think number one, Jets need to get off to a fast start. And I'm looking at the game script Todd Downing is going to put together. Mm-hmm. Downing's first couple of weeks, he replaced Nathaniel Hackett 5 games into the season, as he's not technically the offensive coordinator. Technically, Hackett's still employed. He kept his offensive coordinator title. The Jets, I guess, were trying to be nice to him. Todd Downing is now running the offense, though. He's the guy in charge. He's calling the plays. First couple of weeks, we saw creativity out of him. We saw a lot of unique formations, passing concepts that kind of manufactured free releases for receivers. And as the season's progressed, we've seen kind of a reversion to what they were running under Nathaniel Hackett. A lot of static formations, a lot of just win one-on-one. If you can't win one-on-one, the play can't work. I think it's important it's always important to get off to a good start, but it's really important for the Jets to get off to a fast start in this game, because the last time they were on the road, it was a couple weeks back against Arizona. The Cardinals went right down the field, scored a couple early touchdowns, and the Jets team kind of checked out. Maybe not be a polite thing to say, but you didn't see the effort from that team after they fell behind early. You saw, you didn't see guys like rallying to sell the football on defense. You didn't see guys, finish plays. And I think it's easy when you're 3-9, when the season's over, when you're looking to the off season, it's kind of easy to check out. So I'm looking at the script, get off to a good start. Number two, I think Quinnen Williams needs to play a big game for the Jets. As we mentioned, Sauce Gardner's probably going to miss this game, which means rookie Quantez Stiggers would step into the starting lineup. Stiggers is a rookie out of the CFL. He was drafted out of the CFL. I think he's the first player ever drafted out of the CFL. Really interesting story. I mean, they're going to make a movie about his life, where he never played college football. His father died tragically. He kind of stepped away from the game. His mother had some connection. His mother signed him up to play this minor pro league. I think it was like an indoor league. He got the attention of this guy who worked in the CFL. He ended up getting connected eventually with the Toronto Argonauts, but because he had never entered the NFL draft, he actually entered the NFL draft straight from the CFL. So amazing life story, but he's a rookie stepping into a starting lineup against a very talented receiver group. It can be a tough matchup. I think we remember last year, the game the Jets played in Miami, Tyreek Hill was out, but DJ Reed had a lot of trouble with Jalen Waddle. Jets are going to need to give these corners help against this receiver group, which means that the defensive line is going to need to play big. And Quinnen Williams is the one guy on the defensive line who's capable of carrying the load in that way. So I think the Jets are going to need to get a big game out of Quinnen Williams. And the third is avoid turnovers, which I guess could be a key to any week, but Jets are the Jets are less talented of the two teams. They're on the road. You have to avoid mistakes. When you're the underdog, you can't give the other team short fields. You can't, come away from drives in the red zone without points. Jets had 2 big turnovers in last week's game against the Seattle Seahawks. They were up 21-7. They were on the verge of scoring a touchdown to go up 3 scores, or even, if you even kick a field goal to go up 3 scores in the second quarter. Aaron Rodgers throws a pick six to Leonard Williams. A lot of people, you probably saw that if you watched the highlights, but there was another big turnover. Breece Hall had a big fumble in the second half. Jets just had an epic goal line stand where they stopped the Seahawks 8 straight plays from inside the 5-yard line. There were some penalties that extended that drive, and they looked like they were finally putting together a decent drive, and maybe the drive to take control of the game. Then Breece Hall fumbled the ball away. Seahawks scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. Jets need to do a better job protecting the football in this game. So those are my 4 keys, if you include the don't throw a pick six on the Hail Mary.
I think not throwing a pick six on a Hail Mary is a great place to start, and should be something every team aspires for in every game that they play.
And every team's done it except the Jets. The Jets are the only, every team's accomplished that except the Jets last year against Miami.
If I think about this game for Miami, I agree with what you said about, especially if Sauce Gardner doesn't go, how that changes the math of the secondary against Miami's receiving core. I think that what the Dolphins need to be able to do is find some semblance of success on outside run to set up their play action and create that horizontal conflict from linebackers. And they have not done a great job running the ball in recent weeks. Now, I think they showcased some opportunity after Alec Ingle had missed 2 weeks, and his absence was really hurtful for their ability to run the ball. He's been back the last 2 weeks, but the game script really did not set itself up for Mike McDaniel to stay balanced and call a disciplined game, which he tends to do when you fall behind. He gets away from the running game very quickly. The Dolphins had 39 rushing yards against the Packers, but there were a number of their outside runs where the tight ends, for the first time in a while, showcased good ability to secure and sustain blocks on the edge with Alec Ingold's return. I'm not saying you got to come up and run the ball 30 times if you're Mike McDaniel, but just having some early game success running the ball because you have this speed with Quincy Williams at linebacker. You want to create conflict. If they're going to try to help build more leverage for the corners on the outside, that puts a little bit more space responsibility onto the linebackers in New York. And if you get that outside run going to create that flow, Jonnu Smith can work back across the grain on that, and you can create that horizontal conflict in the middle of the field. I think that's a really big thing for Miami in this game. They have to tackle even 30% better than what they did against Green Bay. Pro Football Focus credited them with 23 missed tackles against Green Bay in the cold, and it's obviously a big storyline, and we'll talk about the cold on January 5th when these two teams are getting ready to play in Week 18, I'm sure. But the tackling was horrendous, and it half of Green Bay's yards came after contact in the game on Thursday and Thanksgiving. So I think that's a big thing for them defensively. And then I would say they need to space the field offensively. I don't have any faith in their ability to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers as a bullet point because Rodgers does get the ball out fast. This team is 31st in the NFL in sacks at this point this year. So I'm not going to put any time and energy there. You want to change the picture, make him process post-snap. But all of the best things that Miami is doing offensively is coming from your ability to create space, force a defense to declare itself from a leverage perspective, and take free access and stay ahead of the sticks. Now, when you start getting into the compressed sets, I think that's when things start happening faster. You're inviting more bodies in. So if a player does have an error, it can compound on you quickly or more quickly. So that for me is I would love to see them against an aggressive defense that has a lot of speed like the Jets to space the field and force them, if they're going to come after you, if they're going to be aggressive, to be able to see it coming a little bit because you've spread everything out and can take those efficient completions. That's where my mind's at.